Good afternoon, students, and today we are going to be doing the different types of neurons and the roles of the neurotransmitters and how too much or too little can affect the proper functioning of everyday. I hope that everyone have done their prior reading before class today, and let's go right into today's session. Neuron is the basic structural and functional unit of the nervous system. Neurons are specialized to transmit information throughout the body. The three different types of neurons are the sensory, the motor, and the interneurons. The first neuron that we are going to look at is the motor neuron. And motor neuron carries signals from the central nervous system to the outer parts, which is the muscles, the skin, and the glands of our body. I can already see the amazement on all of the students' faces, and it is going to indeed be a wonderful lesson to this student. Yes, if the motor neuron axon terminal join with other neuron, it forms a synapse. But if it joins with muscles, however, or glands, it forms a motor nerve end plate. Do you know, my students, that motor neurons are considered to be the largest nerve cell in the nervous system? Motor neurons are also called the multipolar neurons because numerous dendrites project from the cell body into multiple directions. The next type of neuron is the sensory neuron, and the sensory neuron carries signals from the outer parts of our body, the periphery, into the central nervous system. Yes, students. Sensory neurons are also called the unipolar neuron because the dendrites and the axon terminal arises from the same axis. Also, sensory neurons are sometimes called afferent neurons because they transmit impulses from the receptors in our sense organs. For example, the eyes, the ears, the skin, the nose, the tongue, and muscle organs to the brain. The last and final neuron that we're going to be looking at in today's session will be that of the interneuron or the associative neuron. There's a reason why it named the associative neuron, and we'll be looking at that shortly. The interneurons connect various neurons within the brain and the spinal cord, and also carry information between the motor and the sensory neuron. You know, students, that the interneurons can also be found in the brain, the spinal cord, the eye, and they are very easy to recognize. Why? Because of their short action. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that transmit signals from a neuron to a target cell across a synapses. Target cell may be a neuron or some other kind of cell like a muscle or a gland cell. A neurotransmitter is necessary for rapid communication in the synapses. Neurotransmitters are packaged into synaptic vessels. Now, students, we are going to be looking at the role of the three neurotransmitters and how the level of each, both too much or too little, can affect our everyday life. The first neurotransmitter is the acetylcholine, which is responsible for the stimulation of muscles, including the muscles of the gastrointestinal system, and is related to the Alzheimer disease. The second neurotransmitter, students, that we're going to be looking at in today's lesson will be the dopamine. And the dopamine is associated with the reward mechanism in the brain. Dopamine generally involved in regulatory motor activity, in mood, motivation, and also attention. Sad to say, people with schizophrenia or schizophrenics have too much dopamine. Patients with Parkinson's disease have too little dopamine. Yes, students, now let's move on to the third neurotransmitter. And the third neurotransmitter will be that of the norepinephrine, and it is strongly associated with the bringing our nervous system into high alert. It increases our heart rate and our blood pressure. This neurotransmitter is also important for forming a memory. All right, now we're into our fourth neurotransmitter, and it is called the serotonin. And its role is to regulate attention and other complex cognitive functions such as sleep, dreaming, eating, mood, your pain regulation. Too little serotonin has been shown to lead to depression, anger control as well. GABA or GABA is the final neurotransmitter, and it prevents the brain from becoming overexcited. If GABA is lacking in certain parts of the brain, epilepsy is normally the result.